Hey, it's me, Renee. I am the course creator for this biology class you're doing. And what you're going to focus on in this unit is learning about cell structure and function. And a little bit of this might be review to you from either classes you've taken previously or maybe something you did in middle school. But the goal is to kind of remind you about some of the things you've done, but then take a kind of higher level on how this stuff actually works. So I get really excited about talking about this stuff. This is what my degree is in, genetics and cell biology. So I'll try to not get super excited, but just going to give you a quick overview to what you're doing in these lessons and what I have designed for you. So quick basic, what you're going to learn, you're going to do a refresh on the basic structure of cells. You're going to talk about what their function is. And then what is going to kind of start to take it to the next level is really to start to think about this idea of cell specialization and how different cells perform different functions and how they all have to work together in order to make an organism survive. It's super, super cool stuff. But then what I'm going to do is even take it one step higher, and you're going to learn the fascinating science research. Well, not all of it. There's like bazillions and bazillions of it, but like some of the really cool things that are happening right now in the scientific world related to like cell specialization, cell communication. If you've ever heard of bioprinting, if you haven't heard of bioprinting, I'm kind of jealous because it is so cool that I kind of wish I was relearning it for the first time. But you're going to get to learn about bioprinting and how they're looking at using bioprinting to print organs for organ transplants. Super cool stuff. Okay, so real quick review of what you're going to do in these upcoming lessons. The first one, lesson 1.1, you're just going to refresh what you know about cells. They're the fundamental building blocks of life. They are the architects of living organisms. They are everywhere in everything that's living. It's amazing when you think about it. All the biodiversity of living things on this planet all come from the same basic unit. A cell. All right, so there we go. It's the foundation of life. They are these little microscopic powerhouses out there just running the world. And basically, in order to get another cell, they got to come from a previous cell. So those are like three principles of cell theory. You're going to dive into that a little bit. And then, click play on this video here, you're going to look at the difference between a prokaryotic and a eukaryotic cell. Eukaryotic are these more complex, membrane-bound cells that have a formed nucleus with the DNA inside of it. They've got all these little organelles that are functioning inside in order to make that one cell function. It's kind of like this little city happening within the cell. And then you're going to look at prokaryotic cells. These are your basic minimalist cells. They do not have a nucleus. They don't have membrane-bound organisms. Bacteria is a great example of prokaryotic cells. Whoops, how do I get out of this? Keep moving. There we go. I'm not going to spend time on this in this lesson right now because you will dive deep into it in lesson 1.3. And again, this might be a refresher for you. That's fine. You're just going to look at the very common parts that most cells have, most eukaryotic cells, not prokaryotic cells, and refamiliarize yourself with that and what they do. And then we get into the next level, super cool stuff. So you're going to learn about the art of cell specialization. And so this is really looking at how cells are optimized for their designated roles. So what an eye cell does versus what a heart cell does versus what a muscle cell does, how they all are specialized to do what they do, but they got to all collaborate, right? They all have to work together in order for that organism to survive and do its thing. So if that eye cell is doing its special function, but it's not still communicating with the brain cells, what's going to happen? So they've got to do their special thing, but they got to collaborate and get it done. So you're going to get a chance in this lesson to look at these different cells and start to get an idea of how they differ. And then you're going to do some really cool stuff next. You're going to design your own supercell. So what would be like if you could just design a cell that could do anything, what would it be? And then you also get to look at this idea of bioprinting. So like 3D printing, but printing organs. And you're going to learn about a researcher who's doing a lot of work with how cells communicate with each other, because scientists have to know that stuff if they're going to be bioprinting organs and printing with cells that have to be able to communicate with each other right away and get an organ up and functioning. So super cool stuff. All right, so key takeaways, what you're going to be doing. You're going to look again at what cells are, refamiliarize yourself with the parts of a cell. And if you haven't learned it before, the lesson will teach you. It's fine. You'll be okay. Looking at cell specialization, and then you're going to start to look at like some of the bioengineering and things like that that are happening in this like super cool, fascinating world of cell